Okay, cool. So yeah, Wilma is our very early stage beta tester. Like he joined us from I think it's May, or you
June.
received the device around May or July
Yeah.
in 2024, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think she played with T Apex a lot, so that's why I invite her for this live stream so she can share with you a little bit about how she was using that in the swimming area. So I think so. Would you mind just give us a brief introduction about yourself first?
Sure.
So,
Do you want me to video? Because I can't undo the video because it says I'm unable to start the video.
oh, okay. I think I can give you the. Okay,
Because
I think yeah. I think I give the permissions now. Should be
okay.
yeah yeah. Right.
Yeah. Hi. So yes, I got the TA packs in about July and we were heading towards Paris. And I had heard, from Ben that some of the people for swimming were taking it to swimming and but more so the track and field people. So I've been waiting for something like this for over, I don't know. The track and field has had a device like this called the 1080. And the 1080 has been able to give them the resistance and the sprint assist coming back, but nothing for swimming because swimming is there's the water and really, really pleased to have something that is water resistant. Not waterproof because I dropped it in the swimming pool. So we know that it doesn't work if you drop it into the swimming pool. However, if you put a weight on it, it won't drop into the swimming. If you were lazy like me and didn't and sat on it and then got up and like, oh, then it went into the water. And that's another story. In terms of, I was at the Paralympics, and so I didn't really have much time to play with it until I got back to the US. And once I got started, I think the biggest thing is, and Ralph Perazzo's on here as well. I think the biggest thing is the assist. Uh, Traditionally, people have used like ropes and they're or stretch cords and they're pulling people in. But it's actually very time consuming and it's pretty tiring for the coach to do. And if you have 30 athletes or 20 athletes, even 10 athletes, that's a lot of work for someone to do. And now we can actually do like a pit stop crew, kind of like NASCAR or the Formula One, and everybody tick, 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 chink, everybody put it on, and they go and they can do multiple sets. So we like to do a combination of doing resistance going out, sitting at the wall, relaxing, and then towing in. And in the very beginning, all I had them do was like, let me just put you in a streamline or let you just float. And what was amazing about that is I think we don't do enough of that in swimming because no one's just going to pull you through the water and learn to feel it and move your hand and how much a finger will move the water differently if your hand is like this or like this or like that or like this or your head is up or down. And I don't think you can teach that as well as using the TA packs. I think it is phenomenal, phenomenal for getting people to change their stroke based on the feel. And in the elite swimming world, the best athletes have a great feel for the water. But what if we could give that to a more average athlete and make them even faster? And I have put Olympians on this device, and they are fast. And their central nervous system, I think that's the other thing. When you're doing assisted, your eyes are working differently, your ears are working. They're having to use the computer to calculate your brain at the computer to calculate all these different parameters, all this input. And it's doing it in a very fast calculation. Running has a hill, skiing has a hill, but swimming has no hill. We can't do it like all these other sports. And this device, again, like today I was working with somebody. and we were playing with two different types of stroke entering into the water, where one Olympian on a 50 free was entering thumb down and then turning. And then you see the current Olympian gold medalist Cam McAvoy, Manadou, they enter with their fingers down and then into the water. All of these things, he could feel the difference. And I said, and I'm just towing him. He's just doing hands like this, do this, play. Now move your arms slowly. Look at your bubbles. What bubbles are you creating? Can you see the dispersion of the water? It's fluid dynamics that you get to test out, like being in a kid when you open the window and you stick your arm out and it's flapping in the wind. We get to do that now with this device. You can tow people we've done towing people on a kickboard. We've towed people on a boogie board and even a surfboard, and just feeling, what does that feel like for the body? What does that feel like for your hand and your ears and your eyes and your toes? Everything matters. And I think the biggest thing, if you want to be a very, very fast swimmer, is learning to relax. And so many swimmers think, am being, if I press really hard, that I'm going to go faster. And we know when we look at very novice swimmers, they're the tense ones. And how do we get them to relax in the water? And here we have like Ralph Perazzo here. He's an Olympic trials qualifier, and even what to get him from Olympic trials qualifier to be on the national team for the US or even an Olympic team would be a huge jump, simply because the ability to relax and contract isn't quite there yet. But could we use this device to get him to be more fluid with the water? I don't think Trevor is on this call as well. And we've been playing around, just like I just have people, hey, look at the water, surface of the water. Bruce Lee said, be like water. Well, what is water? And if you're a very novice swimmer, you're not seeing that there's waves in the water. And I just say, hey, just play around with the waves with your fingers, move with the water, use your arm, try moving your hands. I mean, there is no, I don't know, like I've seen some fast swimmers move their hands like this, and maybe, and I don't know the answer. And everybody has a different body, and they have a different way of moving, and they have a different level of mobility and strength and flexibility, and what one shoulder can do, one shoulder cannot do. What, like Gretchen Walsh has extreme hypermobility, and she can do things that most other people cannot do. So I think there's no real one right way, but there is a right way for certain bodies, and there's the physics that is the right way. I mean, obviously, if we're going to stick our hand out like this and swim, we're not going to have very good, streamline, or the resistance in the water is like putting on brakes. But having them learn that is pretty powerful. And so then, really it goes for every age, from Olympian level, elite level, down to the most beginner. And I think, as we have learned, all you have to do is tow people in, and you'll see them smile. It's literally, they'll come out of the water and there's a smile on their face, because it is like it's like freedom, honestly, just being able to be towed and feel the water and have nothing else going on in your mind other than feeling about this. Any questions? Let's see. Or if Ralph or Trevor wants to talk about their experiences on it, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I think I can share the video you sent me earlier. So I think people can get more understanding about your ideas. Yep.
Okay, so this is a Russian swimmer. I mean, he's not really that slow, but he has this very weird thing that he turns his hands inward like this, and he actually strokes with his hand internally rotated. and I mean, he's a 51, 100-meter freestyler. He's not slow. This is not a slow guy, yet he has these very strange things. And I think there's a video. I mean, I didn't put it on here, but I'm trying to make a video of it. He actually says, I would not have been able to fix this had I not been able to feel what I'm doing in the water. Because to him, this is normal. You can show him a video, but it's not fixing anything. It's the quality of feeling the water in that way. Here he is again. Yeah. And you can see his hands begin to internally rotate, and he's not surfing the water flat. He's surfing the water with his hands. And so this one is slightly somebody different. And all he's doing, again, I mean, it seems so simple, right? That they're not even swimming and they're learning. And we have to remember how it is when we were children. We just experimented. We got in the water and we were like goofing off and finding out how does our body move in the water? Where's the disbursement? And this one, when Ralph was being pulled off, he was actually reshaping his body to be more like a canoe and changing how he moved his shoulders, where he moved his shoulders, where he turned his rib cage internally rotated inward to be more hydrodynamic, more like a canoe and a kayak, where if you look at a boat for backstroke, you think about that it's a rounded bottom. It's not a flat bottom. Boats are not flat. They're rounded. And then he was playing around with it. Wow. And I go, and then he learned, wow, I can actually be higher in the water just by reshaping my back. And it's just so, and then he doesn't have to stroke. He can just focus in, let me feel how my body is going to be in the water like this. And in that way, he's learning how to be a faster swimmer. And since we started playing around with it, he's dropped a couple of tenths. And it's fun to play with them, and they learn so much. Here's that Russian kid again, who you can look at his left hand is doing really crazy stuff and crossing over and doing, and that's why he only has that yellow paddle on his hand, on his left hand. You can see him widely sweeping out. This is a 51. Okay, and this is an Olympian right here. He was in the Olympics in Paris. I'm not saying his name, but he went 7.6. And the crazy thing about it, he was being pulled, and by the time he got to the wall, he was gassed. His central nervous system was like, that was a lot, even after assisting him. Like this guy was, in the 50 in Paris, 50-meter freestyle. And if you can show it again, Ben, like he's really going fast. And he was, again, feeling the water and feeling how fast his arms could go through the water. And I think the body's a very interesting thing, and the brain particularly. If the brain does not know how it feels to be at 7.6, it's unlikely to be at 7.6, because it's like riding, going skiing. If the first time you've ever gone down a hill or Black Diamond and you're out of control, your brain is going to go, danger, danger, danger. It's going to shut down. It's not going to allow you to go that fast. It's the same thing for sprinting. If your brain doesn't know what it feels like to be at 7.6, it's not going to go 7.6. I mean, 7.6, like that's incredible. I don't think anybody, off a dive for sure, we're probably, maybe Jordan Crooks he went 17 point something. Maybe he's holding that pace off a dive, but that was off a push over there. And really kind of understanding that feeling is, I think, crucial to making our sport faster. Let's see. Raul has a question. The effects of assisted swimming are based on the feedback from the water and is the most effective race specific tool. Yeah. Yes, you can absolutely do that. Trevor, you have something you want to say?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
hosting this, and thank you, Wilma, for talking. I'd say the biggest thing I've been able to swim with Wilma a lot and play with the machine and take it to my high school aged athletes and let them play. And the the biggest thing that I find as a teaching tool is number one, the your body, when you move through the water faster, there's more resistance that occurs, right? This is like a property of lift, right? This is how airplanes fly, like things get more dense the faster they move. And being able to tow an athlete across who has a terrible entry and can't get their arm over the water. Well, when they go to hit the water on the outside and boom, they get hit with that 4 meters per second and their arm just flings down to their side. They didn't actually get a pull. That's the hydrodynamicy that I see of improvement is just phenomenal. Right. I mean, it's turned my kids into actually like reaching over and forward to enter the water instead of, you sweeping off to this, getting their full reach in. Um, and then the neurological thing, your brain, the body's brain, the body's brain, that was silly. The brain doesn't want to go beyond a certain point, and to get to 100%, it's very taxing, as Wilma was saying. And so even when I use it and I just do like a streamlined push off, my heart rate rises because my brain goes, you're going at your top speed. So it has a natural response to increase your heart rate with that because that's normally what it does. So there have been times where I just do like a streamlined push and I get to the other side. It pulled me in 8 seconds, but I'm, as Wilma said, out of breath slightly. And I'm not kicking, I'm not doing anything. It's just pulling me across. And so there's definitely some major like aha moments just from being able to play and like I did breaststroke the other day and I found that swimming like quote head up breaststroke felt better than my normal breaststroke when getting towed by it for some reason. And then I did some normal strokes where I didn't throw my head down as much into my breaststroke and it felt way better than it's ever been before. So there's definitely the play aspect of this, and just learning hydrodynamics at a speed that you normally can't swim at. I think is one of the coolest features, the coolest tools that I've utilized it for.
And Trevor swam at Cal. So, I mean, at one point he was the top 25 in the world in breaststroke. So this is somebody who's very experienced and this has been really, I think, a game changer for,
Yes,
yeah.
the resistance bands suck.
Uh,
Having to, I mean, we all know that as coaches, right? Having to sit there and try and pull a bunch of athletes across. This is just so beautiful. Click, click, resisted, click, click, assisted.
I think Thomas has a question. Thomas Bauman.
yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I'm just wondering about changing the body position on getting towed. You're seeing improvement by feel, or is that something the tablet or the T-Apex is giving you data back on to show you exactly how much difference they're improving by changing a posture or core engagement, being more in a kayak shape? Just
Yeah,
wondering.
it's not the tablet. It's literally by feel, right? As all the best sprinters in the world, it's the feel for the water. It's the feel for the water. That is the hardest thing to teach, I think. It's they're, I mean, I think the younger they are and teaching them to feel the water, and that would be the best thing. But as you know, every single elite swimmer is like, I lost the feel for the water, or I got the feel for the water, or I'm warming up to feel the water. It's not the tablet. The tablet is great for assistance, not assistance, resistance. And you can actually see like, oh, look, there's like a dead spot right here. That's when you really see it. Or you're changing your stroke because the power is greater than what you can handle right now. And oh, like at, 10 kilos, you're not even going anywhere. You're literally swimming in place. For little kids, I've done it on little kids like, 2 or 4 kilos, then they only push off the wall and then they're pretty much stuck. But that's why, what's really awesome is you can actually dial it manually. You don't even need the tablet. You can just dial them down like, oh, they're not moving. Okay, let me give them something. Oh, they're not moving again. Let me give them something. And that's been really helpful as well. And I think it's a lot of learning, and there's a lot of data as well that you can get. We aren't like track and field. Track and field, they are measuring each step, like, oh, that one they got 2.13. Now I've got their step down to 2.3. That's how defined they are. And I feel like we're in the Paleolithic era of swimming. They have had this kind of knowledge for a long time. And I don't even know if we can even be that exact. I mean, we have distance per stroke, right? And distance per kick, but it's not to the level of which each step is being measured.
And
Yeah, and yeah, I think
it's
regarding the overspeed and the body positioning and also the tablet data stuff, I think since I think T Apex in swimming industry is quite new, and also we're still learning how to read the data. And I think for track and field, like you are standing on the ground, so like no matter how large the assistant I gave, right? If you stop standing there, it will stop. So in the track and field, when you're looking at the data of overspeed, it actually gives you some curves. But in the swimming pool, it's like in the water. So when you get pulled, somehow the data is kind of unchanged at these settings. So what I'm thinking about is you can decrease the assistance a little bit, like to a small assistance. So if you have different body conditioning in the water, the speed will be different. So I think that's probably something you can tell on a tablet, but maybe we can do some more research or more play with it in the future, right?
Ben, do you
well,
have that? I did that little report that shows like these are the underwaters and this is where he starts stroking.
Yeah, I have it. So let me find it.
Yeah. And then
and
Trevor, did you want to say something?
yeah, about the feel thing. So if we have a video somewhere. I know Josh has it of us just doing some like streamlining underwater, and all we're doing is like pivoting our hands up and down, and nothing else is moving, or you're not supposed to think of anything moving. And you can see through the video that, and you can feel, at least when I was doing it, I could feel, I'd push my hands down, and then it would take a moment for my hips to follow, and then take a moment for my feet to change the trajectory. And then I'd lift my hands up and I'd feel the body dolphin motion
Just by
with
moving the hands.
just by moving my hands. And we have a video of it somewhere. I just tried to send it in the chat, but it won't let me send a video. It only let me send photos. But like, to me, being a swimmer and at the level that I was, and now doing this stuff, all the stuff I've been doing with Wilma, I found that I like the technical aspect. I didn't really know much. I mean, no, like for real. Like, well, why are you this fast? I don't know. The feel, as Wilma keeps saying, the feel of the water is something I've always had. I've also been swimming since I was 6 months old. But that's the answer to your question. It's, if you can get the athlete to feel it, game over, game changer. We can sit there and tell them all day long, all day long, all day long, and show them data and show, well, you're going this many meters per second, and this is how fast your turn was, and your breakout distance, blah, blah, blah. But if the athlete doesn't understand, then there's no way that they can feel it, right? But the big part for athletes is the feel of it, for sure. Not so much, in my opinion, at least, not so much the data. The data is very cool, but in everything we've been playing with, it seems like you get a lot more back with just play than you do with analysis.
Yes. So this is I did this. It's not actually an acceleration report. I was doing this late last night. It's actually a velocity report. And so in this was Ralph Perazzo, and he was going. I put the machine at 4 kilos, and that's the red one and gray. And so you can see he was doing 6 dolphin kicks. There's 6 peaks here. One. So the push, when he's at his fastest, right? We tell all the kids when your push is the fastest you'll ever be. And the data for sure shows that, right? Here he is at 2 point something, almost three something off the push, and then it gets lower. And then, of course, because it's heavier on the gray one, it's lagging, right? So he's having to do a little bit more work. And so he's fast in terms of time. The top one is time 1.3 seconds all the way to 5 seconds up here. So at about 3 point some odd seconds, he's starting to break out to freestyle in that green section. And again, you can see this on the bottom one, that is distance instead of time. And so based on the distance, and I think what's fascinating is if you look at the gray one, he's doing something extra just from the extra poundage, right? Like the resistance is I don't know if the resistance, like and he said the 6 kilo one, he felt like he was being pulled backwards. So he had to work hard, and he essentially changed his stroke to accommodate that, which we don't want. We don't want him to change his stroke to be different. We want him to try to change, like keep the same stroke, dig deep, but don't do any kind of extra. And he's doing something extra right here. Ben, if you wanna, is there one other one?
Yeah, so
And it's not the acceleration point. It should be velocity. I was
yes.
was late last night.
Okay, just in a second.
Wilma, real quick, you said that I was changing my stroke at 6 kilograms right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't really see it on the dolphin kicks, but you'll see
yeah,
later on.
yeah, because I would change my stroke to try to have to hold the water from it allowing me to pull. It would pull me back. So I'm like at the end of my stroke, that's what I was doing. I was like holding on to the water so I make sure I didn't get pulled back. So it was definitely changing my stroke.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Would you, RJ, would you say that you have had to do that before with resistance bands too? Because sometimes I feel like that when it's at the end of the resistance band, I feel like I'm like changing my stroke and kicked just so I don't get pulled backwards.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yep.
Similar feeling. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you can actually see like his stroke totally becomes like different. Like look at those, like the gray one has all these like little hills that go down, 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 down. I'm not exactly sure what that is because I haven't synchronized it to the to the to the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but you can see he's lit, and my guess is that's a breath right there where it's kind of flattened out at about 12.3 seconds and at the very beginning there. And then
Yeah, I think you can see like I think for each flat period it's kind of breathings. So you can treat like each flat things as a pattern, and you can see for the red one it's almost like 2 peaks during the flat as a patterns. But for the great one it's like 3 or 4, which from the video we can see like he's doing I think 3 hands like for one brace, and for the red one it's like 2 hands for the brace, right? So I think it's something different we can see
right,
from the
because he
video.
was afraid to be pulled backwards. And so that's why he was trying to grab on as much
Yeah,
as possible.
I think this is quite interesting because for track people like I have some conversation with some track coach, and because T-Apex can provide consistent pulling back resistance compared to sled or something like that. It is active, not passive. So it helps the athletes to train, and if they need to make sure every step is efficient or effective, because previously some of the athletes when they're training they get lazy for a few steps and you cannot notice that. But at this moment, because there's a resistance constantly pulling you back, if you don't pay enough force on the steps, you will get pulled back. So the coach will see very clearly about like if you are lazy or not. I think it's very similar to swimming, right? So if you don't make sure every stroke is effective, and you get pulled back. So you need to make sure like even though at the end of 25 meters, like for the last 5 meters, you still need to work hard. Otherwise, you get pulled back and you need to swim more.
Right. Yeah. And so what we've been doing a lot of is we've been doing and when I first started doing this, we've just did resistance out and then fast swimming back with a lot of the athletes, like fast swimming, and they feel good, right? They go out, and then I started playing around with, okay, so what if we do zero resistance out and then swim hard back? Or, sometimes like post activation potentiation. When you let it go, then they can swim really fast after you do resistance, the contrast training. And I don't know which one works the best. All I know is we have never had a machine that can tow you. So we're all in uncharted territory, because usually when you do resistance, you're on a rack. Nobody's then putting on a belt and stretch cord you over speed back inside. It's either overspeed or it's resistance, but not a combination of both. And so again, we're in uncharted territory here. And so we need to gather more data and figure this out.
Well, and just, again, this is way better than the resistance bands, because the resistance bands get exponentially harder as you reach the wall, right? Being able to be pulled at the steady state is just phenomenal. And one other thing that I'm just going to throw out there that no one has said, whenever we went to the Olympic Training Center for like a training camp, they had a machine that pulled you across the 50-meter pool, and you could set it for like 30 seconds, and then it would pull you across in 30 seconds. So this is, this kind of technology is something that the United States has played with before, but they abandoned it because they clearly just didn't know what they were talking about and didn't know what they were doing.
So it looks like Raul from the University of Granada has a paper on sprint swimming with assisted and resisted training. I mean, I would open the floor up to you, Raul. Tell us what you want to, share your knowledge.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Rob, so do you want to share any ideas of your papers here? Okay, before that, I think I find some clips for Josh swimmings. Let me share that. I'm not sure if that's what you're thinking. You said previously. This one, like you talked about the towing stuff, about the positioning.
No, it's slightly different. All Josh was doing was just moving his arms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wilma, I'll send it to you right now.
Oh yeah,
So
and it can go 50 meters. There's nothing out there that can tow 50 meters. Here we are at USC, and Ralph is going 21. And then the beautiful thing about this is he's now his head position for breathing, he could feel it. He now felt the position of the head. If you would go back, Ben, on that other video, he learned in that one pull of 50 meters how to actually go and do a breath, sneak the breath in. And he was, prior to that, has never been able to do that.
Yeah, that was like if I picked my head up too high, then I could feel it so much more than when you're normally swimming. Right here, you're creating that little pocket that you've always heard Bob Bowman talk about, is like split one goggle, keep one goggle in the water, keep the other one out. You can feel it so much more on the T-Apex, and then you can play around with just like that little head movement versus taking that giant breath and getting your whole mouth out of the water. You can feel it a lot more when using the T-Apex, which is great.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Raw is already unmute himself. So yeah, would you mind to share a little bit about your insight on swimming and track and field?
Yeah. Can you listen me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Well, you need to think that this kind of equipment has been used especially in Eastern countries from many years ago. I was visiting the Moscow Training Center in 1988, and they had pulleys, systems of pulleys on the ceiling of the swimming pool in each lane, covering the 50 meters up and down, not stop. They were able to swim a 50-meter freestyle, 1500-meter freestyle continuously, world record pace. In this case, the adaptation of the stroke are really very near to the real race pace in competition. And this is the question with this equipment. Later, when I was coaching, I used that, assisted. Also, there is a method for organize the training using, for example, you can do many variations, but you can do 3 weeks assisted, 3 week missed, and 3 weeks before the taper only assisted, and race pace or just little bit over the race pace or the target that you have for competition, because you are speaking about the possibility to get feedback of the waves of the drag, changing the position of the body. This can be done when you are trying to get a strong feedback, a strong signal that you have a bad position in the water, and it's giving you cues in order to say better in the water. But when you are going to apply that to the real technique, when you are swimming, and especially when you are trying to do race pace training in order to get the target of the near competition, you have to swim just a little bit faster than your normal pace, not too much faster, because in this way the changes in the technique are very high as well. It depending. You need to orientate the system. This kind of training is the future. There is only no ways to do other things. When I see a coach bringing or taking the rope or the gun and following the swimmer, I said, this is the past. This is 1 century ago. It's not the tool for the normal. And now when you are getting, you are showing that product in an affordable price, that is very important. Because there is other product in the market, but the price is so high that any coach is thinking to buy that. But this kind of equipment has a normal price, a price affordable. This is because I'm trying to buy the first one as soon as possible in my university for testing, because we are doing top level research and we want to test that in order to get real result. Also, we have published a lot about PIP, post-activation potentiation. We had many papers related to swimming, and the effect is real. It's like a pill. You get real effects in the performance. And this is the area, for example, in the competition, it should be this system near the swimming pool before going to the final, in order to do real PAP to enhance the performance later. Because the window of the PAP is about 6 minutes, and this kind of organization has to be provided. It's provided already in athletics. The runners can go to the gym that is very near to the field and go quickly to the start. This is there are things that we need to request to the international competition organizations. The future, no way, is the future. But we need that some maybe top level swimmers like McKeown in Australia, that you can see many videos in Instagram using the system. We need that many more swimmers internationally important in order to promote the methodology and the effect of this kind of equipment.
Wow. Okay.
I hope you will understand my English.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Yeah.
So thank you, Ro. So I think well you talk about two things. First is like the body positioning stuff, and the second one is like the slightly over speed training stuff. And I think that is well, it's quite common in track and field area, like for be assisted, but for example, you got a PB and in track and field, you actually have like for every step, how much velocity you want to achieve, right? And then um, remember when I described the function of overspeed, we allowed you to customize your own speed profile. So actually you can do, for example, every 10 meters, what is your speed goal? So you can test your speed from actually from the normal way, like the normal mode, and then you put all the data, for example, 90% of that speed, or even you increase a little bit, like 5% of all the speed go and put back into the overspeed functions. So it gives you a well very reliable overspeed or assistant training to get you easier to approach your person PBs before competition, so you can train more and get your nervous systems get used to that. And also, I think because the dynamic fluid in water is very different from in the ground, so the body positioning way is very important, right? Everybody might have different body conditioning um, resistance or drag in the water, like, or even you have longer arms, or your body is longer than others, or you are a little bit fatter than others. In the water, it's quite different. But in the air, it's almost similar. It's not. It cannot tell a lot of difference. So that's why I think in swimming, like body positioning training is also a big topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I got the videos from Rafal. Yeah, let me share that. So the body positioning stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's moving his hand and get pulled, right?
Yeah. Yeah, just literally playing to be like a dolphin, right? We don't very much get a chance to do like the water animals are doing something that we're not doing, and just being able to drag yourself, you learn so much about how water moves around your body.
Yeah.
Trevor,
Yeah.
are you on?
I think Travel left the
Okay,
meeting.
sorry, left the
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah, I
Okay.
think you had to coach, but yes. So that
Yeah.
that is Trevor. Trevor's a big guy, and being pulled through the water, and just having a good time and letting his body move with the water. And I think again, like when Bruce Lee talks be like water, I think this is the closest thing that you can actually feel like you're being like water. You
Yeah.
cannot see the waves and the turbulence underwater, but you can really feel it when you're on this machine and you're being towed. I think
Yeah.
again, just like
And
Raul said,
I think Travel is really relaxed in the water, right?
yeah,
In
yeah,
his body conditions, I think it's really relaxed and get pulled. And to feel the water, I think it's very important. Like if your body is very tensive, right, I think you almost cannot feel anything. So
that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Again, teaching relaxation through the water
Yeah.
is probably one of the hardest things to do. Because you got to be able to, especially like the 50 free, you got to be like Usain Bolt, right? He's looks like he's not working hard, but he's faster than everybody else. It's because of it. The data shows that the faster you can relax, the more you're an elite athlete.
Yeah. So yeah. And any questions more about like the trainings, also probably about the device?
Um, I have one question and a comment.
Yeah.
Is well, is the, does exist the possibility to synchronize with the video?
I think there's ways to do that. Like, well, first the precision of the synchronized is not that high level of precision. So you can record, for example, the green light of start, or you can record the beep noise of the start, and then you can use that as a point for synchronize. Or even you can use the kick away the peak velocity, right? When you kick away from the wall, you as a synchronized point to synchronize your videos and also your data.
But the system has have a light,
No
uh,
light, no light.
no light, no? Because this is the simple thing is when you start recording, a light is switch on,
Mhm.
and with this way the synchronization can be done very easily.
Mm. So
And
on the tablet, there's a start button. And so I start it and I just tell them don't move. So I start it and the machine's quite intelligent. So it's not recording really until you
ah
push off. It stays still. As long
yeah
as they're not, running their hands like this, trying to,
Yeah.
yeah yeah
scuttle
yeah yeah.
water. But it's, you know, uh, I really need a data scientist on deck with me, because it is, I hit the iPad, run out there, take the video, or I need somebody to video, and I can run that. I run the tablet, but there definitely needs to be, if you want that kind of data, you need more than, me. You need a couple of people to get the
And,
video, to get the data, to get and it's live. It's actually showing you live data as you do it. So that's pretty good.
and the software is able to export in Excel or
Yes,
CSV. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
because,
So
because
you can export it in CSV, yes.
if there is some way to switch on the light or something other, for example, we have a Python code in order you get the record, you get the video, and you put both things with the Python code in the computer, and you can see both things synchronized. But we need an event synchronization
Yeah.
in
Well, there's a
general.
CSV, so you can get all that data off there. And I think one of the benefits, like, if, you're a nation that doesn't want people to know what your swimmer is swimming, it is actually private. It's not going into the cloud. It's all on your tablet.
Yeah.
And
Well,
what I also learned is that the 1080, which is the running one, requires you to have software, and you have to pay $850 software every year to use it. And the T-Apex has no software licensing that you need to go in the cloud and pay for it. When you buy this device, you're buying the whole box, and your data is yours. It's not going into the cloud. It's not going to the Chinese government. It's all yours.
this is very important.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Very important.
because it's like war, right? Olympics is like war.
Is
We
my
can't give out our
worry
top secrets.
is my worry with the equipment, with other equipment that you need to use a cloud software, and they are getting your data, and you don't know what will do with your data.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I think it's a really big advantage of the
Yeah,
T-Apex.
I
And
agree.
it's not $16,000, and you can use it in the water.
Well, I hope to have the opportunity to buy the system as soon as possible, and after that, I will share with the people of the company some some ways we have to synchronize.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Great
I have
idea.
Yeah.
to test. I have to test with your equipment before. One comment about before you commented some way someone commented that there is the possibility to get mean velocity every 5 meters of every 10 meters and so on.
Yes, you can.
Well, this is
So yeah, so actually you in the report you will get like a distance and also a time for every 5 meters. So the average is just simply you just divide that. Yeah.
But you can see it, Ben, if you do that. I sent you one with just the data, no graph. That will show you every 5 meters what he was at.
no
Yes.
this is very interesting because in some way you can play with the swimmer using different pace in the 50 meters, for example, no? start very fast, measure how the decrease of the velocity is going down. And if you see that, you change a little bit the strategy, start a little bit slower and try to go faster later. And you see all the combination. What is the better final time?
Right. The only thing is, there is no baseline right now, that you can do on zero, right? So I tried doing that, and then Ben said, like, oh no, actually, that's not accurate data because the string has a little bit of wobble through it, through the water. And so you need to put it on at least 1 or 2 kilos of to get a more accurate. So you can see here, right? 5 meters is 5.7, 10, he was at 10.5, 15, 15.2. Yeah. Is this running or me? Is this swimming?
This is the minimum load. When you are using only like a speedometer,
Mm-hmm.
there is a minimal load to be able to record.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is 1
So yeah,
kilo?
you can still record the data, but because if you put like zero tension on the cable and especially in the water, right, the water flows, so it gives you the data is a little bit off accuracy. So
Yeah.
which we will suggest you at least use 1 kilograms or 2 kilograms on the cables to
Yes, yes.
make sure there's tension on that, so all the data is accurate.
Yeah.
Well, can be filtered as well. Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know. Now there
Yeah,
is
but I
many.
think the important things is like every time if you use the same settings, you can compare. So the
Yes,
important is like the consistency of the data. I think
of
it's
course.
much more important than like how much it's compared to the reality. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you. You have any other questions?
Okay. Yeah, seems everyone's good good now. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think this an event and probably like Ro will be happy with that is like everyone enter this live stream will get a discount code. So it's like $100 off discount code. So uh let me share a little bit. Yeah, so probably you can contact us through the email or you can just add our WhatsApp. So we will give you a $200 off discount code and it is valid within 48 hours. So I just leave this page for 1 or 2 minutes so you can add us through the WhatsApp. Yeah. And I
Okay,
think
thank you.
86, which country is?
China.
China,
China.
yeah.
Yeah, you should see their robotic leg that they have for running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we did some introduction. Oh well, I think we have that.
Yeah. They have a robotic leg to help people run faster.
Yeah.
When do we get a swimsuit that you just put on and then you feel like you're Caleb Dressel? When do we get that then? When's that prototype coming out?
Wow. I think like it's more waterproof
Yeah.
requirement, so we need test more, right?
Yeah, a little more custom there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I gotta head out, but thank you so much
Yeah.
for all of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. No worries. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so William Brown is asking, when will you put out the exosuit?
Well, I think the exosuit for track and field, well, we have already have that, but we just didn't publicly release that to the market. So if you are interested in that, you can just email me and we can give you some information about that. Yes.
Yeah, if anybody wants to, just message me on Instagram, Healing with Wilma, and I will. I'm pretty good about getting back to everybody. So let me know if you have any questions. And yeah.
And also, like for any like data analyzing all this stuff because it's quite new for swimming industry. So feel free to contact me as well so we can work together and to see how we can evaluate all the data and analyze them in a good metrics.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and appreciate your time, Wilma. Yeah, thanks very much for your sharing today. And yeah.
Bye-bye.
And yeah. Okay, bye bye everyone. And I think that's for today. Okay, bye.
Bye.